All right, hello everybody. Today I am so excited to share this awesome recipe with you. It is a quinoa stuffed pepper. It is Coach Grace here. If you haven't seen me before, nice to meet you. I am super excited, so let's get into all these ingredients and get started. So we have our peppers here, which is going to be the foundation of our product. This is going to hold the quinoa stuffing, this lovely mixture that we're gonna put in there. We have some mushrooms here, some onions, some quinoa, some tomato sauce. We also have Nutritional yeast here, which is super good if you're someone that has any dietary restrictions, if you're keto or vegan, or this is something that has a lot of protein and vitamins in it, and you can use it as a substitute for cheese. So if dairy's not for you, that's perfectly fine. This is an awesome substitute. You can sprinkle it over salads, on a wrap, in your quinoa stuffed peppers maybe. We also have some cayenne and some cumin here. So these are going to be mixed in with your pepper. Cumin and garlic, not cayenne, but you can add cayenne if you want to make it a little spicier. So first, I have my water boiling on the stove. You're gonna want 2 cups of water boiling, and then I'm gonna add my 1 cup of quinoa in here. So I will bring this over here and add it to this water since it's starting to boil. Also, while I'm over here, I'm gonna preheat the oven to 350 because we're going to need the oven nice and toasty for when we cook our pepper. So now that that is boiling, I'm gonna show you guys what else we got in this mixture. We have some mushrooms here, and so you're gonna wanna dice about 1/2 cup to 1 cup of mushrooms. We wanna make sure that these mushrooms are diced nice and small so that they fit nicely in the peppers, doing 1/2 cup to about 1 cup. And then the onions, we are going to dice nice and small, if you can see. So making sure that these onions are cut nice and tiny, and we are going to mix these together in a pan in just a little bit. And then for these peppers, you are going to want to shear the tops of them off and then clean out the insides. So here's an example of one that I've already done. You can see it's nice and open in there. It's ready for some quinoa stuffing to go inside. So I'll do this red one so we can mix up the colors. So just cutting off the top here, getting the stem out, getting all those seeds out, because we definitely don't want to eat any of those seeds. So there's a ton of seeds always at the top of the pepper. I kind of like to pull out the top so it comes out in one, but then you still have some of these remaining little pieces of flesh inside. So we're going to cut them out and get our little pieces out. Okay, so now we have lots of room for our quinoa. The quinoa over here, you're going to want to cook for about 12 to 15 minutes, and cover your quinoa too while you're cooking. I do not have a cover on it, so I'm about to go put a cover on it and make sure that it's cooking for about 12 to 15 minutes before I check on it, and then we can get into the rest of this yummy stuff. So I will see you guys in about 12 minutes. All right, guys, this quinoa has been cooking up. It's been about 12 to 13 minutes, so this quinoa looks about ready. I'm going to add the diced onions and the mushrooms into this pan. Let it cook until the onion is translucent and the mushrooms have softened a little. Then we'll add our tomato sauce here. So this is about 1 to 2 cups, depending on how much you like. I just have a cup here, so I'm gonna add that. And then we will add our spices, just these 2. The nutritional yeast will go on top. So let's add our stuff to the pan and get it sauteing and cooking. Onions first, let them cook up a little bit. And then I'm gonna add the spices here. So our garlic and our cumin to give it some nice yummy flavor. And we're just gonna let this saute. We're just gonna keep an eye on this. So there's no exact time for how long you wanna let this cook, but just keep an eye on it and make sure that the mushrooms get nice and soft and those onions are cooking up. And also for you guys, I have used a muffin pan. So little life hack here. These like to slide around all over a baking pan. Instead of having that happen and things spilling over in the oven, we're gonna use a muffin tin, and our peppers, this pepper, you might have to squish in there a little bit, but these nice small peppers fit perfectly in the muffin pan, so they're not sliding around when you put them in the oven. So the oven is warmed at 350, and once this stuff has been done cooking, we'll add our quinoa in just a sec. So these are ready to go, ready to be stuffed. And now that these are sauteed, I can go ahead and add my cooked quinoa to it. Let's add some quinoa in there. This quinoa looks good. And quinoa is an awesome superfood too. I don't know if you guys have had quinoa before, but I definitely recommend it. There's some super creative ways that you can use quinoa. You can make it for breakfast. You can use it as kind of like an oatmeal, or you can cook it for dinner, or it's good just on top of a salad for lunch. Quinoa is a pretty versatile food, and it has a lot of nutritional benefits for you too. So I definitely recommend you guys try some quinoa if you haven't before. All right, so this looks ready to rumble. We have our quinoa mixture here, so I'm gonna spoon a little bit into each one of these peppers. And we'll sprinkle some nutritional yeast on top as our little grated cheese, but it's not actually cheese. If you haven't had nutritional yeast before, I know I've made homemade kale chips before, and you can do something like kale chips and sprinkle some cheese on top, or not cheese, some nutritional yeast on top, so it kind of tastes like cheesy kale chips, which is super yummy too. Alrighty, so we have our peppers, and they're nice and stuffed. They spilled a little bit, but that's okay. And we're gonna add our little yeast on top. Looks good. And these peppers are gonna cook for about 20 to 25 minutes. So once they are cooked and you think the quinoa looks extra crispy and those peppers have softened a little bit and you can see that they're a little bit wilted, the skin starts to wilt as they cook, then you'll know they're done. So we have our peppers here, and we're going to take them and put them in our oven, and then we'll set a timer for 25 minutes, and then we will have our finished product. All right, so now that our timer is up, it has been beeping, it is time to pull these yummy peppers out. We're going to use safety, because it is hot in there, use your oven mitts, and these peppers look good. So I'm not gonna touch them, but I want to. You can see that the nutritional yeast has cooked, the quinoa has kind of absorbed all those flavors, and this is ready to go. You can do this for a simple dinner, super easy, super yummy, and super healthy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I will catch you guys on the next one.